I should have left when I realized he wasn't coming. But when his wife walked into that bar alone, looking lost and desperate for someone to talk to, I made a choice that would destroy the friendship I'd built over 8 years. My name is Liam Parker. I'm 27 years old and I work as a sales manager at Hartwell & Associates in Chicago. Friday afternoons at McGill's Pub were sacred in our office. It wasn't mandatory, but if you wanted to be part of the inner circle, you showed up. Dark wood paneling, Edison bulbs casting warm light across worn leather booths, the smell of craft beer and buffalo wings hanging in the air. That's where deals got discussed over pints, where promotions were whispered about between shots, where you proved you were one of the team. Brandon Mitchell was always there, holding court like he owned the place. 45 years old, senior account director, the kind of man who commanded respect just by walking into a room. He had this effortless confidence that made clients sign contracts and made junior employees hang on his every word. We'd been working together for 3 years, but our friendship went back 8 years to when I'd interned at his previous firm during my college summers. He'd mentored me through every early career mistake, recommended me for this job when I was barely qualified, invited me to his home for holiday dinners. Everything good in my professional life I owed to Brandon Mitchell. "Liam, you coming tonight?" Brandon had asked that Friday afternoon around 4, stopping by my desk with his tie already loosened. "Got something major to celebrate. Finally closed the Weston account after 6 months of brutal negotiations." "Wouldn't miss it for anything," I'd said. "First round's on me to celebrate." "Bring that enthusiasm, kid. You're going places." He grinned. "And hey, Natalie might stop by later. She's been wanting to meet the team, get out of the house for a bit. You know how it is." I didn't really know, being single at 27, but I nodded anyway. I'd met Natalie maybe twice before at company events. Brief introductions over plastic cups of wine, polite small talk about weather and traffic. She was Brandon's wife of 12 years, always perfectly put together in that understated, elegant way, always smiling politely while Brandon networked like it was an Olympic sport. I remembered thinking she seemed quieter than I'd expected for someone married to Brandon, who never met a conversation he couldn't dominate. She had this way of standing slightly behind him at events, like she was trying to take up as little space as possible. By 6 o'clock, McGill's was packed with our usual Friday crowd. About 15 of us had claimed our regular corner section, and Brandon was in his element, standing at the center telling the story of how he'd closed the Weston deal with perfect comedic timing. Everyone was laughing, raising glasses, patting him on the back. This was what Brandon did best. "This is what it's all about, people," Brandon announced around 7, raising his beer. "Hard work, persistence, and knowing when to push for the close. Next round's on me. We're celebrating properly tonight." I'd worked with Brandon long enough to know he genuinely loved these moments. The applause, the admiration, being the most important person in the room. But then his phone rang, and I watched his expression transform from joy to barely controlled rage in about 3 seconds. His jaw clenched, that vein in his forehead pulsing. "Are you kidding me? Tonight? Right now?" He stepped away from the group, and I could see him pacing near the bar, one hand gesturing angrily. When he came back 5 minutes later, he looked like he wanted to throw something. "Morrison account emergency," he said, slamming his beer down. "Clients threatening to walk if I don't get to the office immediately." Unbelievable timing. He downed what was left of his beer in 3 long gulps, then grabbed his jacket. But before leaving, he turned to me with that intense look he made when he needed something. "Liam, listen, I need you to do me a solid here. Natalie's already on her way. She doesn't really know anyone else on the team that well. Can you just keep her company until I get back? Make sure she's comfortable? Shouldn't be more than an hour, 2 max." "Of course, Brandon. No problem at all. You're a lifesaver, kid. Seriously." He clapped me on the shoulder. "She's been really looking forward to this all week. Kept asking me about finally getting to meet my work family." Work family. Something about that phrase made me uncomfortable. Then he was gone, and I was left checking my watch, wondering when Natalie would arrive. She walked through the door around 7:30, and for a moment I almost didn't recognize her. Gone was the conservative woman who'd stood quietly at Brandon's side wearing safe black dresses. The woman scanning the crowded bar was wearing dark jeans that fit her perfectly and a soft cream-colored sweater with a V-neck that was elegant but definitely meant to be noticed. Her blonde hair, which I'd only ever seen pulled back severely, now fell loose in soft waves around her shoulders. She'd clearly spent real time on her appearance tonight, and she looked beautiful in a way that seemed almost defiant. But more than her appearance, there was something different in her expression. She looked hopeful, almost excited, her eyes bright as she scanned the crowd, like she'd been genuinely looking forward to this evening. She found me and I watched her face fall. Just a subtle shift, but I caught it. The disappointment of seeing me instead of Brandon. I stood up and waved her over. Natalie, hey, Brandon had to run back to the office. Some kind of emergency with the Morrison account. He asked me to keep you company until he gets back. Of course he did. She smiled, but it was tight and didn't reach those striking green eyes. A work emergency on Friday night, after specifically asking me to come out. Again. There was so much weight in those words. Years of disappointment compressed into one sentence. Can I get you a drink? I offered. Wine, white. Whatever they have that's halfway decent. She slid into the booth. And thank you for babysitting the boss's wife. I'm sure you have better things to do. I honestly don't mind at all, I said, and surprised myself by meaning it. When I returned with her wine and my beer, she'd taken off her jacket. She took a long, slow sip, closing her eyes like she was savoring it or trying to calm herself. Rough day? I asked. Rough year, if I'm being honest. She opened her eyes and seemed to immediately regret the admission. Sorry, that's not appropriate conversation. Hey, you can talk about whatever you want. I asked because I actually want to know. She studied me for a long moment, deciding whether to be honest. Can I ask you something? How well do you actually know Brandon? Really know him? Pretty well. We've worked together for 3 years, known each other for 8 total. He's been an incredible mentor. Mentor. She smiled, but there was profound sadness in it. Yes, that's what he excels at. Being the mentor, the boss, the respected guy, being a husband, that's completely different. I'm sorry, she continued quickly. This is unfair to you. You work with him. No, it's okay. Sometimes it helps to talk to someone outside the situation. She laughed without humor. Outside the situation. Perfect way to put it. Everyone in Brandon's life is outside. His colleagues, clients, golf buddies. I'm the only one trapped inside a situation he wants nothing to do with anymore. How long has it been like this? Probably about 5 years of it being bad, but the last 2 have been absolutely unbearable. She gestured for another wine. Do you know we haven't been on a real vacation in 3 years? Every time I plan something, book hotels, make reservations, there's a last-minute work emergency. Every dinner I cook gets cold because he's stuck in meetings. Every conversation gets interrupted by his phone. I feel like I've been competing with his job for years, and I've been losing. That must be incredibly lonely, I said. Her eyes met mine, and I saw tears forming. I can't remember the last time he looked at me like I mattered. Like I was more than just the wife he's supposed to have. You know what he said last week? I asked if we could go away for our anniversary next month. He said, let's see how the quarter closes first. Our anniversary, Liam. 12 years of marriage. Lower priority than quarterly sales. Natalie. And the worst part is, I've accepted it. I've gotten so used to being invisible, to planning everything around his schedule and needs that I don't remember what it feels like to have someone actually see me. The way she said, see me, with such raw vulnerability, hit me hard. I see you, I said quietly. She looked at me then, and something shifted between us, something electric and dangerous. You're very kind, Liam. Brandon talks about you constantly, says you're going places, that you remind him of himself at your age. He's been really good to me. He's exceptional at being the mentor, the leader. She paused. He's just forgotten how to connect emotionally with another person. Her second glass arrived, and we fell into deeper conversation that stretched over an hour. The bar got louder, but our booth felt separate. She told me about giving up her interior design career for his ambitions. How she'd stopped being Natalie and became just Brandon's wife. I'm 44 years old, she said, and I feel like I woke up one day and realized I've completely disappeared. I don't even know who I am without him. You're intelligent, I said. You're thoughtful. You actually listen when people talk. You're passionate about things even if you've had to put them aside. And you're beautiful. She smiled genuinely for the first time. You're very sweet? I'm being honest. Around 9, she checked her phone again. No messages from Brandon. Not even a sorry or be there soon. Should we try calling him? What would be the point? He'll show up whenever. Usually hours after whatever he needed to do is finished, long after I've given up. She looked at me. Can I ask you something personal? Of course. Do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions? Like you're living a life someone else designed? Sometimes, I admitted. Late at night when I can't sleep, I wonder if this corporate ladder is actually what I want or if I just got swept up in it. At least you're young enough to change direction. You're 27, you have time. I'm 44. This is my life now. It's never too late to choose something different. She looked at me intently. That's a dangerous thing to say to an unhappy married woman. My heart raced. I know what you meant. She reached across and put her hand on mine. I needed this tonight. Someone who listened, who saw me as more than an obligation. Her hand was warm. I should have pulled away. Liam, she said softly. Can I tell you something terrible? What? I don't want Brandon to come back tonight. I just want to sit here with you, talking to someone who makes me feel like I exist. Natalie, I know it's wrong. You work with him, but I can't remember when someone last looked at me the way you are now. How am I looking at you? Like I matter. We stared at each other, both knowing we were at the edge of something. I should probably go, she said, but didn't move. Probably, I agreed, but didn't let go. If I ask you to walk me to my car, what happens? I walk you to your car. And then? Whatever you decide happens. She stood slowly, still holding my hand. Parking garage, 2 blocks away. The walk was silent, both of us knowing what we were doing. The October air was cold. When we reached her car in the dimly lit garage alone, she turned to face me. I'm going to regret this tomorrow, she said. So am I. But right now, I need to feel something other than invisible. I need to feel wanted. She kissed me first. Soft, tentative, testing. When I kissed her back, it deepened into something urgent and desperate. We ended up in the back seat of her car, 2 people trying to remember what it felt like to be wanted. She was confident, experienced, but there was sadness in her kisses, like she was searching for something lost. Afterward, in the dim light, reality crept back in. She fixed her sweater, ran fingers through messy hair. I can't believe I just did that, she whispered. With you. With Brandon's friend. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Be honest. Why did you do it? Because you needed someone to see you. And I saw you. She touched my face gently. That's the kindest thing anyone has said to me in years. What do we do now? Now? She laughed sadly. Now we pretend this never happened. You act normal with Brandon on Monday, I keep being the invisible wife. We carry this secret forever. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter anymore. What matters is not destroying your career or my marriage. Protecting Brandon from knowing his wife was desperate enough to sleep with his mentee. You're not desperate, you're human. Thank you. She kissed me one last time. Thank you for seeing me. For making me feel like I mattered, even just tonight. I'll remember this when I'm lying next to a man who barely knows I'm there. Then she got in the driver's seat. I watched her drive away. Brandon showed up at McGill's around 10:30. I'd gone back, tried acting normal. Where's Natalie? He asked. She left around 9. Said she was tired. Did you keep her company? Yeah, we talked for a while. Good man. I knew I could count on you. He clapped my shoulder, completely oblivious. Sorry about babysitting. Morrison was a nightmare, but I saved the account. Worth it in the end. Worth it. I wondered if Natalie had ever felt worth it to him. That was 6 weeks ago. I see Brandon every day at work. He treats me exactly the same, still mentors me, still trusts me completely. I haven't seen Natalie since that night. No texts, no calls, nothing. Like she said, we're pretending it never happened. But I think about her constantly. About the way she looked when she said she felt invisible. About how desperate she was to feel seen. About how I betrayed a friend who'd only helped me. The guilt sits heavy every time Brandon trusts me. Every time he talks about making me partner, I remember I'm the last person who deserves that trust. Last week, Brandon mentioned they're going to Cancun next month. Finally taking her somewhere. She's been wanting a vacation forever. I wondered if she still feels invisible. Some secrets we carry alone. Some mistakes we make knowing exactly what we're doing. I gave Natalie one night of feeling visible, and she gave me the understanding that sometimes people are so starved for basic recognition that they'll cross any line just to feel human again. Brandon will never know. Natalie and I made sure of that, but I'll carry this confession forever. The memory of the night I made a lonely woman feel seen and destroyed a friendship in the process. Sometimes the things we're most ashamed of teach us the most about the price of kindness. If you have similar secrets or unexpected connections, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Secret Stories for more intimate confessions and hidden moments. Thanks for watching.